Hello, everybody. Welcome back. If you are watching this, it is January of 2026. We made it. We crossed over. Happy New Year. I am actually recording this in December in keeping all things transparent. Let me tell you, come on. That is like a phrase I've had in Nairobi. It has been insane. Like this year, especially towards the end, has been so intense. We were just talking with my husband last night about just how exhausted we are. And it feels like, when you've been running a marathon, you're getting to the finish line and you see the finish line, you're almost there, just like, oh my goodness, like the energy is just, So if that was you towards the end of last year, guess what? You made it. You're on this side and you're doing great. Mamas, papas, caretakers. I just want to salute you. We made it to the other side. So Happy New Year to you. I am super excited to be here with my guest today. Super excited because I actually started following her. She popped up on my IG feed a number of times. And every time I listened to what she had to say, it resonated with, I guess, who I am, who I want to be, who I aspire to be. And it is the tagline I would use for her is a much needed voice in this generation. There's so much going on. There's so many ideas there. And we suddenly have so much information at our fingertips that you almost get overwhelmed to the point where you're just like, But hers was a voice that just resonated. And I hope you get a feel for what it is that I mean as we carry on with our conversation. But super, super, super excited to have her here. Let me be honest, I was super excited when she reached out and said, hey, I'm ready now. Because initially I was talking with her admin person and it was kind of like, yeah, I've passed on your request to coach and she'll reach out. It took a few months. I was just like, just want to know, one of those other, it's kind of like, okay, I will, So when she just randomly actually called me, and we'll talk about that, I was super surprised to the point where I was like, is this a joke? So without much further ado, I'm actually going to let her introduce herself. I don't want to talk too much about her, but her name is Catherine. She is a coach, a life coach. I call her Coach Catherine. Throughout the podcast, you probably hear me call her coach because she really is. And so without much further ado, I'm going to be introducing my guest, Coach Catherine. Karibu sana.
Asante sana. I'm so happy to be here.
Really?
And I know, yes, honestly, and I know as you just said, it took a while.
Yeah.
I usually don't do a lot of podcast interviews. I think I've just been focusing so much on because I've just been doing this for about 2 years, a year and a half.
No way.
Yes. So I was like, okay, it just grew so fast and I've been getting quite a number of requests and I said, let me back off.
Yeah.
But there was just something about you when I watched you. And I was like, she's so real. You're so, you keep it so real. There's just something about you that resonated with me.
Thank you.
And I said, you know what? I will go and sit with Bella. Because she's actually doing what I'm doing. Coming from a very genuine space. So, my pleasure.
Thank you. I want you to introduce yourself because I think you are best to capture in words. You've actually literally just thrown me because I didn't realize that you've been doing this for 2 years.
Yes.
I mean, I guess you're sharing your life experience. So for me, it feels like I can feel that experience. Right. But in essence, you've been doing it 2 years. Yes. So for you, it's like, okay, the journey, in terms of you sharing and coaching people started 2 years ago. But anyway, without much further ado, please tell us, who is Coach Catherine?
Right. So I'll pick it up from there. 2 years as a coach, but 31 years as a mother.
There you go.
Yeah. And 33 years.
Yeah.
So Catherine, Ireri, Coach Catherine.
Yeah.
That's the name I use. I'm a mother of 4. So my children are all grown. My last born is Gen Z.
Yeah.
My son got married this year in March.
Congratulations.
So I actually, have... can imagine. I mean, it's just...
You're a mom and mom-in-law.
And a mom-in-law.
Now, is he the first to get married?
No, yes, the first to get married is my second born. So I have my daughter Sally. She's my first born. Philip's the one who got married this same March. Then Andrew.
Yeah.
Then I have my other daughter, Olivia.
Yeah.
She's my niece, but she's our daughter.
Yeah. So technically
4.
Okay, so 4. Olivia is one of the...
Yes.
Got you.
Yes, yes, she is. So motherhood has been a great journey for me.
Yeah.
I've been married for 33 years.
Congratulations.
Yes, I know.
That's
Time
3
goes-
decades, right?
I know, my gosh. I always remember my friend of mine once telling me, oh, my sister, I know they've just celebrated their 15 years wedding anniversary. And I was like, oh my gosh.
That's just halfway through.
So I'm not going to say that time went like that, but it feels like it did.
Wow.
Yeah, so I'm a mother, I'm a wife. And now I decided later on in life, let me impact the next generation.
And that's what I wanted to understand because,
Yeah.
you know, there's a lot of coaching going on out there nowadays. There's a coach for everything. There's
Yes.
business coaches. There's, you know, coach. I mean, for me, when I initially, you know, we all grew up knowing a coach is, you know, a basketball coach or a sports coach or, you know, obviously with our generation, there's been a lot of coaches who are helping you through life with whatever it might be.
Yeah.
You are a life coach.
Yeah.
How did that come about? And, you know, what prompted the pivot? Was it, you know, you were in retirement and then decided, hey, this is something I could do. How does one make the decision to go into that?
Okay. So my largest career path was in hospitality. I worked for many years with Londro and then Fairmont Hotels. I was in marketing and communications PR. Then sometime in my 40s, I started feeling that urge of, no, I'm done with 8 to 5. I need to get out and do my own thing. So I started my own PR firm, a small, very small boutique firm. And I was very happy in that space.
Yeah.
Then COVID happened. And I think COVID is one of those things that gave us time to reflect. I was not getting a lot of satisfaction.
Yeah.
And I said, I need to do something that's going to satisfy me, something that I can do for free. So that's how I got the idea, oh, what about coaching? And I wanted mentorship. I was not too sure what was the difference between the two. So I looked up and I saw there was a good school here.
Yeah.
Enrolled and I started my classes. So I did my coaching, got my certification. That took about a year. Then I'm like, okay, now I'm done. So what next? And by that time I realized that coaching is not mentoring. Because I had thought I wanted to mentor.
Yeah.
But I realized even in this space, I can still
Mentor.
do both.
Yeah.
So I finished and I'm like, okay, so what do I do with my certification?
Yeah.
And I was like, should I go into career coaching? And I was like, no, there are quite a number. And there's nothing wrong with career coaching, but it still did not resonate to me.
With who you are, yeah.
Yes, but the thing that I knew I wanted to do was something to do with parenting. Because I have enjoyed that journey of being a mother and parenting. If you see my house, I have books, shelves upon shelves of just parenting, boys, girls, anything to do with parenting.
Yeah.
And people actually just used to come to me and ask me for tips. Oh, you know, this is happening to my child. And I'm one of those people who also just gave unsolicited advice on parenting. No, don't let that happen. Do this, do that, you know.
Yeah.
It gave me so much joy.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, I'll get into parenting.
Yeah.
But let me see who else is doing it
Yeah.
around.
Yeah.
Just to give me an idea
Of how to-
of the how.
Yeah.
I checked around, I didn't see anyone. So I was like, oh my gosh, okay. You know what? I'll just bite the bullet. And it's fine. And I did. So I started, and after a while, the Gen Zs, my niece, my daughter told me, Mom, you know what? You're targeting millennials mostly.
Yeah.
They're not on those traditional platforms.
Which platforms were you using?
So now, you know, I'm like doing the old-fashioned way of making phone calls,
Because you're
sending
from a
emails.
PR firm. That's what you know.
That's what I know. You know, thinking of in those lines, you have to go to social media.
Yeah.
And by the time I was getting out of the PR, social media had come in. And I was like, I have no time for that. I've also been one of those people who keeps on posting or even not very active on social media. You have to go. You have to go on Instagram. And don't go to Facebook. That's for you people. It's for old people. Just go to Instagram or TikTok. I was like, what? So I was like, how?
Whole new world.
Oof, I took a deep breath. And she took my video after I had procrastinated for about 2 months. And she said, you know what, we're doing it today. What do you want to talk about? Okay, I'll just talk about the difference between coaching and mentoring. Fine, let's do it.
Love it.
She sat on the floor, took my video, and she said, even before you say anything, I'm posting. It was posted. I panicked because I was like, oh my gosh.
You're putting yourself out there.
I'm there, you know, the fear of judgment and everything. And that was the beginning. So I would do it myself. I'll try. It should help me with the editing. Then I'll be like, no, I need to learn this. I edit, then I find I have deleted everything I wanted to.
Because you're like,
There's a reel I edited for 1 week. So
was it a case of I don't like that, or was it you trying to figure out how to do it?
You know where you have the bloopers and everything, and I need to, this space to here, those milliseconds I need to cut. So I go into CapCut. Yes. And
look at you.
Yeah, and I go but what has happened is I deleted the part I wanted to keep. 1 week, I was so frustrated. I said, no, I have to get someone to help me.
Yeah.
I cannot be doing this, but I'm a believer in getting to know what's happening behind the scene.
Yeah.
So then you know how to control quality and everything.
Yeah.
So I got someone to help me, and that's how the journey started. And would upload, and then I would look at it and delete.
Yeah.
And then she'd call me, Coach Catherine, why did you delete? I'm like,
just
being out there. But what kept me going is knowing if I can help one person, I have a bigger picture.
Yeah.
It's not about me. It's not about how I look or how I'm speaking or, because we're so scared of being judged. And that's what gave me the guts to just keep doing it.
And I love that, because then it's a natural passion that at this point, were you doing the one-on-one coaching, or was it just literally you just getting out there and going, hey, I have something to say, I want to help this generation, and this is it?
No, I wasn't doing any coaching as yet.
Yeah.
Because you have to build your portfolio and get people to know you.
Gotcha.
And that was also another way of people getting to know you.
Yeah.
Then they come to you.
Start asking, hey, how can I
get your services?
Which is what happened with me, right? Because I love those snippets that you do on IG, because, your reels, I should say. We're time poor. Like, our generation is just super time poor. I was explaining to you, just before we came into studio that, this is December. I've got a construction site going. I've got a toddler. I am a wife. I'm doing this podcast. I'm running a business. I've got family and friends, because this is that season. Everyone's, either flying in or coming in, or there's a holiday, and everybody wants to know what's plans for Christmas. What's, so there's so much happening at the same time that it is super, super exhausting. So those reels that you do, those little bursts of 2 minutes, 1 minute here and there, and they're so impactful. So I can imagine the stress of trying to pack everything into 2 minutes, but it is impactful, because that's what caught my attention. Now, long before I started the podcast, as those reels of yours kept coming up, and I'm like, I love what this woman has to say. It's resonating with me. I attended one of your free sessions. I can't even remember what it was at the time. And I remember I was at the peak of overwhelmment with being a mom and trying to balance everything. Gosh, there must have been like maybe 10 of us on that call, and you divided us into the virtual. You are so tech savvy. Like, the way you've shared your story. You've shared your story about editing for 1 week. I'm like, and then listening to you going, okay, I'm just going to split you all into your virtual kind of rooms to have these little chats. I was like, she's so tech savvy. I'm thinking to myself, how is she doing that? How did, Anyway, so you split us all into this room. But I remember before you split us up, I can't remember what you wanted us to discuss. But when you started the call, it was a very simple question you asked. And I remember my eyes filled with tears, because I was in the kitchen trying to help my nanny, who obviously had been with my toddler, most of the day. We kind of had split roles, because I work from home. And the question you asked was, I don't know why, but it was like you asked how everyone's doing. And you said, if you could describe in one word how you're all doing, what would it be? And, we went round the virtual room, and when it got to me, I said, exhausted. And you asked me, Bella, why do you feel exhausted? That's when tears came up, because I don't think anyone had ever asked me that question along this journey of being a mom. Because I think at that point, maybe my daughter would have been, maybe 18 months, because that would have been sometime last year. My daughter would have been, about 18 months. But I just felt super exhausted. And when you asked me, I think the tears came because no one had ever asked me. I had never asked myself that question. And then there was this place of, well, where do I start with trying to explain, And so on we went. And like I said, I was I had my earphones in. I was taking the call in the kitchen. Like life was lifing.
Yeah.
So I couldn't even turn my camera on. I know a few of the girls had their cameras on.
Yeah.
They were intentionally seated, wherever. I couldn't. I was helping her prepare dinner. My toddler didn't want to let go of me. So I was on mute. I couldn't even properly answer. And then we had a really, really beautiful session. I remember thinking, I need to organize a session with you. And I actually still haven't, but I'm telling you, we're going to do it because
it will happen.
It is much needed.
Yeah.
So just with a little bit of what I've described there, I'm imagining, because when I looked at you, how you describe yourself on IG, you talk about how you help working moms overcome the mom guilt, the overwhelmment, and all of that. You then started your coaching journey. People started reaching out to you.
Right.
I wanted you to give us a snippet of what a coaching session would look like, because, I guess I've just kind of given you a small window into what was going on with me at that time. How do you even approach, how do you start to help someone in that space?
Yeah. So normally when the ladies come through, they reach out. So you have your one-on-one coaching, and we'll normally start with a discovery call, and the discovery name is just that. Short, 15, 20 minutes.
To get to know each other.
Yes, to get to know me, but more so for me to hear you actualize where you want to get support. So I sit there, and we are trained to ask the questions, to look at your body. You have signals. You will sigh. You will slump. I get all those signals, and they mean something. They are unconscious to you, but they have told me
You're already
something.
starting to.
I'm listening to your voice. How is it going up, down? Again, it's a signal. So we have a discovery call, and you tell me, Coach Catherine, I'm very overwhelmed. Some of the ladies, quite a number of them who come, they're in tears.
Breakdown.
Yeah, I've had a few who have told you actually need to go for therapy, because there's a underlying
issue.
Yes,
I can imagine
that is now coming up and adding on to the overwhelm. So after that, then we can do the coaching. So it's as simple as that. In coaching, I don't have the answers. You do, but I am trained to ask you the questions and dig deep, and by looking and noticing all the things, what has caught her attention. Why are you using that word? You'd never use words just like that. And especially when you come and you use like a proverb or a saying, we'd go again deeper. Where do you feel like you have a ton of bricks on you, or you've hit a brick wall? Because that really tells you a lot. But you said it without really thinking, because then a brick wall is so solid. So then how are we going to go around it? Are we going to break it into small pieces? Are we going to climb up over it? Are we going to go on the side? So I ask those questions, you give me the answers, and then we look at them. So from here, we can only do one thing. And you repeat again the thing that you want me to help you with. Everything comes from you. You tell me, okay, for me, the first thing I need to do is this overwhelm. It's crazy. Okay, then we break it down. Then we come with an action plan. We look ahead and say, okay, what are the things that you see that can stop you? What are the obstacles? How are you going to overcome them? How are you going to hold yourself accountable, or will you get someone to do that for you?
Accountable,
And then you go off.
Yeah.
So as I did that, I realized there is more that needs to be done.
Yeah.
People always talking about mindset, self-awareness, and I think those words have been used so much until they mean nothing. They become, it's just a word that flies.
Trending at the moment.
Yes, because more than 70% of the ladies who come to me, they are overwhelmed, they're burnt out, there's mom guilt. It's always around that. And that's why I realized I need to do more, because what they actually need are systems, routines,
to help
put
them.
Structures in place.
Yeah.
To help them. But even before you get there, you need to become self-aware. Who is Bella? Who am I? I ask people, who is Bella? And don't tell me anything about being a mother. Don't tell me about being a wife. Who is Bella? And you're like,
It's interesting, right? Because you've just asked the question, and I'm like, actually,
maybe I should ask you, who is Bella?
As soon as you said, and don't tell me you're a mother, because the first thing that came up is like, well, I'm a mom.
Yes. No, I don't want I don't want that answer. I don't want to tell me you're a wife.
Interesting.
Yes.
So not so much what you do.
Exactly.
Or like who am I? Actually, I'm like, seriously, I'm asking myself, who am I?
Yes. So we start from there.
Yeah.
Then that becomes your homework.
Wow.
Can you go and spend time where you're quiet?
Yeah.
And if you don't spend time in silence, you will never grow. So when you spend that time quietly, and being a Christian and a believer, I say, read God's word, meditate on it, and these things, pray about them, write down, and you'll soon start knowing, who am I? Beyond my work, career, all those things. Because
That
there
define
is
you.
that define you,
Yeah,
all the things.
yeah, yeah.
So when you get that clarity, then we get into the core values. What are your values?
I love that.
And again, majority of people are clueless. What are my values?
Wow.
So I walk them through what are values. How do you break that down? Then you can come and say, for me, being a wife is important, being a mother, my career, my faith, my health. Say, great. So how does that then translate to you living every single day? And out of the values, give me 5, but I want us to focus on 3. Because what's happening, the reason you're so overwhelmed, you're doing too many things. And when we do the wheel of life...
I remember we did the wheel of life
yes,
during the...
people cry. They're like, oh my gosh, the things that are so important to me, I'm scoring 2 or 3. But it's because you're not being aware.
Yeah.
You didn't know really how important that was to you. But now, moving forward, you will be so intentional to make sure that that wheel of life is balanced, because it needs to be balanced. It can never be equal.
Yeah.
But you will focus every single day, every week, on the things which are the most important to you.
Yeah.
And when you take care of your core values, all of a sudden you're like, you sigh out, and automatically you have boundaries. Because all of a sudden you're coming across and you tell me, no, let's do this and the other. Like, today is a day I wanted to do 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
Those are things which are very important to
me. Yeah.
And you say, I'm so sorry, but can you maybe on this, let me look at my calendar. But before you are free game, you are free fall. And
because you don't have any clarity on how to split yourself, divide your time. Who am I?
Exactly.
So that, what is important to me, and got you.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that is very transformational. And by the time we're doing that, and the ladies now get to know what's important to them.
Yeah.
It's such a game changer. And it gives them so much joy. They say, okay, fine. Now that we know what is important to you as Bella, and to you as Catherine, and everybody else. And there's no shame here. There's no judgment. If you just want to walk out in the sun and have a good day, and that's okay. Yeah. That's you. That's what matters to you.
Yeah.
No judgment here, because we're doing this in their virtual lessons on Zoom. Okay. Now, can we then plan what every day looks like, every week, which then translates to your month and everything? But it has to be tied to all these other things.
Yeah, your values.
Yes.
And who you are.
Yeah. Yeah.
Amazing. So, I want to jump into the nitty gritty of it. I mean, because there's so many things you do talk about, and so many things that I can imagine are issues that you're coming across. You parented, you're still parenting, so it never ends, I always say.
No, it doesn't.
In fact, we were just joking about the fact that you have a Gen Z at home. And then, you're being redefined every day because now you're a mother-in-law.
Exactly.
You've acquired another daughter.
Yes.
So there's all that, obviously. But we were talking about, gosh, I need to go back to that first phone call because I think what what you thought was going to be a 15-minute call of just us getting to know each other and talk about the podcast and you coming on morphed into, I think it was an hour and 10 minutes or so.
Yeah, it was like, wow.
An hour and 10 minutes. Even with I think there was a power kind of cut on my end, but we continued talking in the dark. And I know you could hear my daughter asking, Mommy, who are you talking? And I kept telling her, I'm talking to Auntie Catherine. Auntie Catherine. So that was just it was so interesting to me. Because again, variety of topics. But one of them that comes to mind, and I think it's something you touched on very recently, especially as the holiday season is what we're currently in, is around nannies. And nannies is such a... It's a very interesting topic for many. And in fact, the last episode that I did before I closed out season 1 was on nannies. And I actually had one of my, she's not really my nanny, she's my housekeeper. So she comes in and helps us with the cleaning, the ironing, all of that. And we had her because I think, like I said, nannies is one of those topics that can go, the pendulum can swing one way or the other. I'm actually on a group where, I don't know how to describe the group. It's a WhatsApp group, mothers just venting about their experiences or what happens with nannies, but at the same time advising each other on how to manage nannies, helping each other understand what the law requires in the way of having a domestic worker. In fact, very recently we had a workshop on exactly what the law has to say and as to how much we pay, what minimum wage is, what vacation or annual leave looks like, things like public holidays.
Right.
So there's a lot on there. All educated women, I remember the gasps and the, what? You're supposed to pay them double if they work a public holiday? Yes. And all of that. So, but nannies, I think one of the ones you've posted recently was talking about with this season, giving your nanny grace, remembering that she's a human being, giving her space and time. What are your findings? Because I imagine in the time that you parented and the way people are parenting now, we're living in a day and age of tech. We're living in a day and age of just the expectation of society. People are working crazy hours. It looks different. People are telecommuting. People are working from home some days. Some people are it's all crazy. It's different from probably the time that you were parenting, especially young children. What are you finding when it comes to nannies? How does it differ from the time that you were doing it? What are some of the challenges that you are finding? What is your advice to mums? I'm very curious because I see some of the discussions being had on there, just to give you an idea. There's discussions around, we talk about screens and children. We don't talk about screens and nannies. Now everyone has a smartphone in hand.
Yes.
And there is some bad people out there. We were joking about, actually on the group the other day, some of the ladies were talking about how they've seen their houses on TikTok. Like someone is they have some music playing in the background and, they're like, wait, that is my nanny. Wait, is that my sitting room?
I hope she's not wearing the outfits.
Okay, and so some of them were saying, hey, some of them do that, But then one really sad one was a lady who was saying that her children were being featured on TikTok.
Oh, no.
And thankfully it wasn't any horrible or bad acts, which is a whole other topic. But those kind of things. Those are some of the little challenges. So I know that there's challenges around. Treat them like a human being. Remember that they are a human being. But these are some of the challenges that are happening with moms. So I just wanted to know what is some of what you're seeing out there. How would you reflect on your own journey and how you related to nannies in your time, and some of the challenges that moms are having today.
Honestly, it's tough being a mother today.
Yeah.
Because I think this phone is the biggest game changer.
Hey, watcha.
And it's interesting because even just yesterday we were having this conversation and someone was asking, what do you do with the phone? Should you allow your nanny to be on her phone, nanny, house manager, on the phone? And I said, no, because it's becoming such a big problem. They are working full time with the phone. They're talking or they're on TikTok. And nowadays, I don't know where people buy bundles from because you can be... Even I ask myself, there must be something I don't know.
There's a well somewhere.
Yes, because I can't afford to be on the whole day, There must be something. There's a disconnect. But anyway, so when you go to an office, there's no way you can be on your phone when you're supposed to be working. So how do you mitigate that? When you're onboarding them, be very clear. During house, your 8
work hours,
to work hours, 8 to 1. If you're breaking off for lunch, you can make your personal calls. But during work hours, let the phone be there because I need to reach you. But you cannot be. If you get a phone call that's an emergency, well and good. But it's a job like any other. So you cannot be on your phone throughout. You cannot be on TikTok the whole day. You go to the kitchen, I find you quickly. No. That's not acceptable. Those are things we need to be very clear when you're starting. If you need to make a phone call and it's an email, go ahead and do it. And we do it also in the office. But you cannot be on your phone the whole day. Yes, and then so these are the things now because of social media. Then just say, you cannot take video of my house.
Yeah.
Or my children.
Exactly.
Yeah. Or my children. In fact, number one, my children.
Yeah. Yeah.
No photography, nothing.
Yeah.
And of my home. Put it out there. How to control that may be another something different.
Yeah.
But let it be. It's something we're discussing right from the get-go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's interesting because the session that we were having with the ladies, so I think it was titled Domestic Workers and the Legalities Surrounding Domestic Workers. And so we had invited a lawyer and she'd come on and she was just, walking us through and telling us whatnot. And one of the things that came up in this day and age, because again, with you having smartphone access means that you have a world of information at the tip of your fingers.
Yeah.
And so what prompted this is that there was a lawsuit recently.
Yeah.
And a nanny who felt she was unfairly dismissed had taken her previous employer to court and actually walked away with about 595,000 Kenya shillings.
Yeah.
And it was around, for years she had worked and was paid not minimum wage.
Yes.
Like the wage was a joke, it was ridiculous. Like we all were like, come on now, surely.
Yeah.
And I think had worked for her for 4 years. And so the employer had gotten away with it, etc. But obviously the nanny had gotten information somewhere and someone had told her, as is her right, that, hey, you actually need to take this person to court and all of that. So one of the things that came up is the fact that you need to have a contract.
Yes.
Because majority of our nannies today, actually, and this is to humanize nannies because I think people forget that they are human beings.
Yes.
Nobody woke up one morning thinking, you know what? And it's not to undermine their role, but I don't think anybody woke up thinking, one day I'm going to be a nanny, or one day I'm going to be a house manager, or, life's circumstances have forced you into that position.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean that you're any less of an intellect, because actually I have a Form 4 leaver and she did well.
Yes.
And I love having discussions with her. We debate about certain things, and I invite that. Not her being insubordinate, but us actually, sometimes she'll reason with me and go, hey, maybe we shouldn't do that. Maybe we should do this. Have you thought maybe we could cook with, so I love that because she's really growing in her role in that way. And she also challenges me in a really good way.
Right.
So they are not, for lack of a better word, they're not stupid people, you know. And so what this lawyer was advising us is that you need to have a very properly laid out contract, and those sorts of things would be on there.
Yes.
If you are going to have nanny cams on during the day, you need to let them know that you are being recorded.
Yes.
Again, it's not a threat, but actually the law requires for you to tell people that you're recording them.
Yes.
And so that is the generation that we live in.
Yeah.
I'm curious, what were some of the challenges in your time? Because I found, especially with the discussions that we have on the nanny group, some people are like, hey, I just hired someone, and the first thing they asked when they came through the door was, password yenu ya Wi-Fi ni nini? And so she was asking the other moms, hey, what should I do?
Yeah.
And the other moms were like, are you kidding? Is that even a question? I was one of those people, because in my head I'm like, what part of your role will require you to use? And then the brazenness it takes.
Yes.
I can't imagine, even in a corporate role, rocking up and just going, I mean, obviously, probably I would need it for my work, but just rocking up and being so at liberty to ask, hey guys, what's the, So, having a contract that lays all these things out, but that's a long. I imagine. I'm thinking about my mom. I'm like, did they have contract? Did they have to sit down with someone? What were some of the challenges, or what do you see in the disparity with those times and our times? What were some of your challenges in hiring, in guiding, in having a nanny, and having boundaries and all of that? What can you touch a little bit on that?
I think our times were very different, and as we've already discussed the phone, so that's the biggest thing that has come. I think the lack of exposure was the biggest challenge, because majority of them, unlike now, even if now you're coming from up country, you've been exposed.
Yeah, they know what a blender is.
Yes, they know, what is an iron, they've seen TV, but they were really coming from the village. Some of them had never been to town. So you're bringing in someone who is very, very green to the city, and then you start from scratch, you teach them everything. And then once you finish training them, they leave. And you've spent so much time. So that thing of always, they come and go. And especially when your kids are young.
Oh, gosh.
The turnover is just crazy.
Yeah.
So that was one of the because you're training them everything. They don't know anything.
Yeah.
So you're very, very apprehensive to leave them with this or that. So you do it slowly. We will start with this. You make sure you cook early in the morning because you're not going to allow her to use gas.
You're worried.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes,
Oh, gosh.
So after a while, yes, they catch on. So that was the biggest thing. They were very green. So in terms of, there was also a lot of ignorance because, of course, they did not know what their rights were. Yeah. And even then, I think the government had not come in to consolidate all those things. And unfortunately, they were taken advantage of. Yeah. So it's a good thing that the law is very clear on what we need to be doing so that they are protected. Otherwise, they are mistreated. Some of them are not even given food, horror stories. Yeah. So that is a good thing.
Yeah.
The whole thing about the turnover has always been there. They come and go over Christmas. They tell you this is happening, and then they disappear and they don't come. And then January you are very busy looking.
Just before you start work, your kids are going back to school. In fact, it's the anxiety, kind of like when we, in our group, when people discuss it, it's like, okay, I'm letting her go, but I don't know if she'll be back. And everybody's kind of just like, oh gosh,
Yes. And it's a big thing. And what I always keep on saying, again, in our times, we also did a lot of housework. Nowadays, the house manager does everything as everybody is on their phone. The kids are there. They say, hey, lunch is ready. They come and eat, go back in front of their screens. They are not doing house chores. The majority of homes actually need to even have a house manager. Majority of them are like, you get the work done. You do it yourself. So that dependence on them was not as much as it is now. Now you're depending on them 100%.
They're like literally a co-parent.
I know, they are a very, very important part of the family. And so come December, you're very stressed. And I keep on saying, then how can we mitigate that? You cannot control human beings. You cannot control their behavior. I'm always asked, Coach Catherine, I've paid her. I've been so good. I give her off. We even go on holidays. She's been, but now she's done this. She's disappeared. She's all this. I say, we can never control
and you have to
somebody
be ready
else.
for it.
So what you need to do is learn how to become more independent. Start teaching your children early enough how to pick up after themselves, age-appropriate tasks, let them start cooking. In the village long ago, an 8-year-old used to be left to take care of the young kids as a mom went to the shamba. She would even cook. Yeah, she'd cook. The mom would go to the shamba the whole day. She comes and finds there was a child given porridge, yes, and everything has been done. So I'm not saying that you do that to the 8, but age specific so that they learn. So when she goes, you're not left so overwhelmed. You just have a meeting in the house and say, okay, so auntie has gone. Now, guys, we need to step up.
We're a team. Yeah.
We are a team. And if you can afford or you plan for it slowly, make sure you have a washing machine. Because clothes, especially when you have kids, that's the biggest workload, get that machine there. So at least that's a big thing out of the way. Then now you're left with cooking and cleaning up. And it actually becomes a time when you can really bond with your children and enjoy. Of course, if you're in the office, then that becomes another story. But then again, people are now working from home. But if you have a small child, then you definitely need someone to watch. Yeah.
Now, I love that you've touched on children and what you are noticing these days where kids are now on their phones and we're not teaching them responsibility. We're not teaching them. Now, I was raised of a certain generation. Yeah. I've been away 23 years. Come back home. One of my biggest challenges, and I'm sure you face this with your coaching, is delegating. So now I'm a little bit of the opposite, where there's the over-reliance on house managers. Mine, I'm like, no, that's okay. I'll do that one.
Yeah.
I'll do this one. I'll do that one.
Right.
Because we were raised to be independent.
Yeah.
We didn't grow up in an age of screens.
Yes.
So in as much as we did have house managers, and I think I shared a little bit in the beginning of the whole podcast series, that I was raised by a single parent. And so I was raised by my dad. I took on the role of my mom. Right. So I was running the household. Yeah. Mom passed when I was just about 10.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And then I had 2 younger siblings. So I took that on as well. And so for me, coming back to Kenya, getting married, having to run my own household, and then having a child, I found it a little bit hard to even trust a nanny with my child. So, when we talk about your coaching sessions and the overwhelmment and all of that, my challenge would be one of those things. It's like, well, what can you delegate? And sometimes it's like a little bit of a struggle. When you talk about mom guilt, I struggled with putting my child in the hands of another that wasn't a relative, that wasn't... so even building that trust, I was joking with my cousin the other day and I said to her, I didn't let go. I don't think I left her at home alone with a nanny. And mind you, there's always Shosho and Babu somewhere in the background.
Right,
So already still that was a challenge.
Yeah.
But until she was, maybe 18 months, I think is when I first, and that was for a few hours, and I was a little bit like that.
Yeah.
So there's that sense of anxiety, but also when you are raised to be independent, you kind of you're like, no, I can, especially when you have washing machines.
Yeah.
So I was like, no, I can do those by myself. I'll separate my colors.
Yeah.
It took me a while to realize, okay, that's not realistic.
Yeah.
I now need to teach the nanny how to do it. Not that I didn't trust her with a machine.
Right.
It's just 23 years away from Kenya, no nanny where I was living.
Yes.
Guess who used to do the laundry?
Yeah, you did it.
So I'm like,
without thinking.
this is not a biggie. Okay, granted, my household has grown a little bit bigger. But, that was a bit of a challenge for me. But what I wanted to touch on is the fact that children these days and how we raise them is the fact that we don't teach them how to take responsibility. Like, surely we're not putting them there with a bucket at age 8 and telling them, now sugua this.
No.
We're teaching them about, this is a machine.
Yes.
This is how it works.
Yeah.
You've got your week's clothes. This is how we separate colors.
Yeah.
I remember my mom teaching me, hey, you've washed your, intimates.
Yeah.
This is how you fold them. This is how you put them away.
Yeah.
I've seen a generation that just dumps them in the drawer. No judgment.
Yes.
Okay, but I'm just saying, So I wanted to touch a little bit on your parenting journey. I say all that to just kind of go back, because you said you've loved the parenting journey.
Yes.
And it started to inform that whole feeling around, I want to coach someone, I want to be able to mentor, I want to be able to share my life experience and help other women. So when you reflect on your journey, and especially when I talk about when you had young children, because you are a career woman, you've come out of a place where you are working, you obviously had to entrust the care of your children to a nanny. You don't necessarily, maybe didn't have a relative living with you.
No.
So I wanted you to talk a little bit about that journey and how you raised your children to be independent, to take responsibility and all of that. And I imagine maybe you didn't have to struggle with screens, again, because it's something our generation, we grew up with TV starting at 4 p.m. I imagine your kids are around
yes.
that age. So you wait for 4 p.m., when the lines for KBC start. There was no KTN, it was just KBC. The national anthem starts, and then boom, there's TV. Cartoons were not an issue. So what when you reflect on your parenting journey, how is it informing this generation? How is it informing the way you mentor and coach young mothers?
So I think the thing that comes up immediately is that in every generation you have a choice.
Yeah.
So we had those TV, there were cartoons and everything. But then as a parent, what do you want? So that was a choice that we made, me and my husband, and we said, okay, this is what we want. This is the outcome we want. Even now when you're living with all these screens, you can decide my children are not going to be on the screen 24/7 because we have decided that's not what we want from them. So we made that decision. We never had TV on from Monday to Friday. Oh, yes, it was a big fight. What did we do? I love reading. So I would buy books. And up to today, my children love reading. They have those big novels. Yeah. Because when you're reading a book, you're getting into another world.
Your imagination.
Your creativity, your vocabulary. You just cannot go wrong. But so you become a part of what you're reading. Now, when I'm just watching, I'm just consuming. I'm consuming someone else's content as opposed to growing.
You're not being challenged.
Yes.
You're not,
Yeah. And my kids initially fought. They fought. We told them, no, we have a meeting. Monday to Thursday, no TV. Friday and the weekend, then we will allow you to do that. So they fought it. after a while, they never even remember the TV was there. Come Friday, it was a special day. Then they would watch their movie, and I would make it fun. You have your pizza and chips and all the things
that.
they don't. So they looked, and they have Coke, and they have
look
junk food. They look
to-
forward to Friday to sit down, unwind, and then on Saturday you wake up, you do your homework, you get an hour or two to watch TV, but you're out playing. So even now you have a choice. There's always a choice, and that's a choice that we made. There are all these things, like now with parenting, you have social media. Let's not even talk about our children. Let's talk about us. When you go on Instagram and you're seeing all those nicely curated and everything looks so beautiful, perfect, then what does that? It's just lowering your self-esteem. You're comparing yourself, Now you're aspiring, I'm going to work harder, which means that you're going to come home later because I have to have my daughter's bedroom has to look like this and all that,
Yeah.
So social media has become such a big, big, big thing for us as adults, let alone children.
Yeah.
And I see it all the time. I've seen the kids are always on. We're buying them the iPads. And I'm like, oh my gosh, you're not even having any moment to talk with this child.
Bonding.
Yeah, so it's easy.
Yeah.
And I can assure you, me us agreeing that we don't want our children to watch TV and all, it actually puts more work on you as a parent.
Yeah.
Because you come home, it's easier for them to watch cartoons.
Yeah.
And then I also go and lounge and I do my own thing.
It's the easier thing.
It's the easier thing. And I used to ask myself, I'm so tired. Why am I doing all this?
And then there's the guilt that
Yes,
comes with it. Because
exactly.
you're like, I should be, but I can't.
Yes. Yes. So, but then you have a bigger picture.
Yeah.
This is what I want.
Yeah.
Then again, community. There's the support system. We are really adopting the Western way of doing everything. Before, at least you had your aunties close by. You had a community that would support you when you had a younger child.
Yeah.
You're lucky you have your parents nearby. But majority of people don't have that community.
Yeah.
So we had our kids, I remember, when you're saying 18 months, by 2.5, 3 months, I had to go back to work.
And that's the reality of our law.
And I tell you, we did not have mobile phones when my first two children were born. So you go to work, you have a landline, you find it's not working, or you're calling and that's the time the house manager has gone to hang the clothes, so she's nowhere near.
Anxiety must be at
So
peak
the phone
levels.
is ringing and you're like, you left this child, you're too sure the fever, were they teething, how are they? And you can't get a message from the phone telling you
and
she
do a
had called.
video call to make sure, okay, she's actually,
So we trusted, but it was very difficult. I was lucky where I worked, at least we were able to come home for lunch. And they allowed us up to 6 months to go home and breastfeed.
Yeah.
It was very near where I lived. So within 15 minutes, I'd go quickly and come back. So I was one of the lucky people who got that. But majority of the people, you leave your child in the morning. And maybe the house manager just reported to work a few days before.
So she's brand new.
She's brand new.
So stranger with your child.
A stranger, you've left a total stranger in your home with your child. So you just turn and you pray and you tell God, please, you
My
just
child
take
is in
over.
your
So
hands.
that was a reality. At least now you have your mobile phone. You can say, put on the video. Let me see the child. Yeah. So
You touched on something really important there when you talked about my husband and I agreed.
Yes.
And there's that place of you having, I guess, family goals.
Yeah.
Like what outcomes are we wanting
Right.
to see?
Yeah.
And then being agreed, okay, this is what we want for our children. This is how we're going to raise them. That is so important because if you're both aligned,
Yes.
because I think the challenge for most people is maybe they don't have that.
Yeah.
And so while one parent maybe, I don't want my kids watching TV or, the other parent doesn't think it's a big deal.
Yeah.
And then again, the convenience that comes with it's been a long day.
Yeah.
I'm tired. Let's just flick on
Yeah.
something. Peppa Pig, Dora the Explorer, just something. That's just, I need to, decompress myself. So
Yes.
even that, there's that sort of thing. So
Right.
when you touch on it, you said my husband and I agreed. And I know that's a challenge for many moms today. Again, I said, with you, there's so many places.
Yeah, I know.
This
You can touch on a hundred
so
things.
I'm mindful of that.
Yeah.
But, we have a reality of there's a lot of single moms.
Yes.
There's a lot of single dads. And I say that
Yes.
because I don't like this narrative. And I think we talked about it the very first time we spoke on the phone. There's a narrative out there of women do so much more than men do. And, so I don't like the whole them versus us thing.
No.
It's just, I think it looks different
Yes.
for everybody because especially in an African society there is such heavy expectations of the men.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
And then there's certain expectations of women, and everyone is overwhelmed in a different way.
Yes.
And it's not so much that this one carries. I can't compare what I'm doing and expect that my husband would do the same thing, because again, it just, there's some things that naturally come. My child is going to gravitate towards me, because guess what? I'm the one who's going to breastfeed her.
Exactly.
So my challenges look a little bit different to
Yeah.
say my husband, who also against society, when things are going wrong, don't look at the wife and go, no, they'll look at the man and
Yeah.
go, "Hey, Mr. So and so, what's happening with that family?"
Yeah.
It's not so much to drive that, but I wanted to know, and I imagine in your coaching, you do come across single moms that are overwhelmed.
Yeah.
They might not have that community.
Yeah.
They might not have a partner who they can sort of kind of soundboard off of each other and go, "Hey,
Yeah.
this is what we want." So they're relying on, the nannies and the house managers and all of that. What is your advice to let me start with the single moms and dads, and then we can go back to people who are maybe in a couple situation,
Right.
marriage situation,
Yeah.
and aligning with one another to be able to raise their kids.
Okay. So I think the first thing is to hear them, to validate what they're going through. Because parenting alone is very difficult. I mean, I did it and I'm doing it with my husband, and it's hard work. So if you're doing it alone, so you validate them and say, yes, it must be. It is difficult.
Yeah.
But then what if you're a lady, a single lady? This child needs a father figure, especially with a boy. So you need to look for somebody, an uncle.
Yeah.
But it must be someone who, I always say, has the same values as you. Because it doesn't necessarily mean that even your own brothers, they could be living a life that you really don't want your child to be part of. So look for that uncle or someone who can step in.
A role model.
Model, especially for the boys, because they need it. And then look for a community. Can you plug in your mother? Is there an auntie? Is there a friend who can help you once in a while when you're so overwhelmed?
Yeah.
And then more so look for time yourself
to
decompress. And I always tell the ladies who are so stressed out, when you get home, have a boundary. When your kids come like, mommy, hug them, and then tell them, I give mommy 10 minutes. I need to go and shower and I'll be back. But just spend that 5 minutes with them, then go to your room, have your cup of tea if you enjoy your cup of tea, take your shower, wear something easy, if it's your day or whatever you like wearing, your lounge clothes nowadays, and then have that cup of tea quietly, and then now go back to, I always say now, to the second duty, which is just as important as the one you did from 8 to 5. But by having that time, and it really works with the ladies, they say, oh my gosh, it makes such a big difference.
Yeah.
But when you come from work, you've not even changed, you've gone straight into that chaos, you're just compounding it.
Yeah.
It's non-stop.
Yeah.
And you'll not be able to be the person you want to your children. But by having those 15 minutes, and the kids actually understand, and they'll be like, oh, mom, so you need to? Yes. Okay, you read your book or continue with your homework. I will come and sit with you. So you've taken that time.
I do it, and it makes a huge difference.
Yes, it does.
You're not irritable.
No,
you're not. It's literally just a.
Yes, and take those deep breaths. They really make a difference. So the single mother just needs to really look for support. And also to take a lot of time to just decompress and be very aware of what are the thoughts that keep on recurring in your mind. Am I taking a victim? Am I in that space of why did this happen to me? Because that will not help you. If I'm here, then let me make the best. And this applies to both, whether it's the dad or them, because the life happens, make the best of that situation.
Yeah.
And you can really do a great job. Many people have done it. I came from a single home and either single mother or father. Look at you, you're here, your dad did it alone and you're doing this. So it's not the end of the world, but just realize that you need more support.
Yeah.
And don't try to do it alone.
And ask for help.
And ask for help. Yeah. So when it then comes to the family unit, I always say that the most important thing a man and a woman can do in marriage is to love each other.
I love that.
Yes.
It's
the
most
biggest
basic
gift.
thing.
Yes. When you do, it takes care when
'Cause
the
you're
children
modeling as
eat,
well.
you're modeling.
Yeah.
And a lot of strife and lack of self-esteem and everything that you go through as adults usually will come from the relationship your parents had. Maybe I saw the way dad treated mom, or they were fighting, they were arguing, and it really dented. There's nothing worse than a child having to witness that. So I remember hearing that once, and I said it made so much sense. Number one, love each other, communicate,
Yeah.
and always, the way you go to work and you do that spreadsheet, that presentation, and you spread it all out and you give that killer presentation. Why don't you use that same energy and the knowledge and the tools that you have to plan out, map up your family? Each
that.
child, you say, I
love
have
that.
3 or 4 kids, okay?
Yeah.
This is what I want for this child. This is what I want for this one.
I love
And you
that.
do it together with your husband.
Because essentially you're casting a
Yes,
vision.
you are doing a
We
vision.
talk about vision boards for,
Yes.
I'm going to own this car, I'm going to live in that house, I'm going to do this, I'm going to have that job.
Yep.
It's a vision board for your family.
Exactly. So what's the point of having that car and flying out to all those expensive, fancy holidays, and your children are totally in disarray? Think about them first. Do that. Come up with that plan. And this also helps when now people say, when we get married, the first thing you notice, I always talk about the first years of marriage are the golden years before you have the kids. When you have children, you realize you have very different parenting styles.
Yeah.
And that always usually brings a lot of friction. I don't like this, you don't like that.
Because of how you were raised, right?
Yes, we came from totally different backgrounds. Now we're together and we're going to try to bring up our children. I'll try and do what I saw.
Yeah.
And you're telling me, no, I don't think I like that.
And then maybe I think what you're suggesting is strange, because who does that?
What do you mean? You were brought up like that? That can't work, So when you're having these meetings, then you come to meet
Like,
each
well,
other.
what do we want?
Yes. So we're here. You were brought up this way. This is what you want. Hear me. Let me hear you, where you're coming from. So what do we want for our children? There's always that all comes a lot in coaching and with the ladies. But my husband, I don't want my children to spend the whole morning playing, and him is saying, no, let them, they're boys, they need to spend the whole, and I'm like, they're wasting so much time. I said, yeah, then sit with your husband and have that conversation and hear him. Where is he coming from? You must listen to him. And then voice, you're also your own. They say, okay, fine. So what do we do?
What is the middle ground? How do we,
for the children?
Yeah.
So when you have those family meetings, they're very, very important.
I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So much to cover.
Yeah.
I'm sensing we're going to have to do another session, because you've just opened up something I would really love to pivot into. And again, it's just that alignment and being able to set those values, because it's something. I don't think we apply the level of intentionality that you just described there, where, yes, you give a killer presentation, you do research the entire, night, you're up doing whatever.
ChatGPT is your best friend.
ChatGPT, hey, before ChatGPT, there was Google, and you felt you had arrived.
Yeah.
You're doing all this research and putting on this amazing presentation, and you're shining at work, But when it comes to parenting, I don't know why that receives maybe the least energy, because we come home, we're tired, it's everything that we've just talked about. But if there was that level of intentionality that you just described, where we're laying out a plan and asking ourselves, well, what do we want, maybe as a family? And it's something that another friend that I had on the podcast, Linda, she's a financial coach, and she was saying the same thing comes with money goals, where they invite their children to planning.
Right.
And rather than the way that we were raised, where money problems were, kept in the bedroom and children were not exposed to, she talks about the fact that, as young as 3 or 4 years old, bring your kids in, obviously have age-appropriate conversations, but it's around, well, what are our goals for the year? How are we going to save? How are we going to... And I love that, because suddenly, this family thing is not... it's not this hierarchical kind of like, we are the ones who know, and then we're going to, where the children just kind of, no, it's all inclusive, and there's a plan. But obviously you, parents as the guardians, parents as, set the tone, the culture. There's the good and bad of how I was raised, there's the good and bad of how you were raised, but then how can we take the best and create our own culture? So that's something I would absolutely love to explore, because I'm sure that, again, you're coaching, you're finding or experiencing quite a few things out there, and drawing from your own experience and trying to guide men and women in the right direction. I know you target single moms. I'm gonna put you on the spot here.
Yeah.
Again, I feel very passionately about single dads.
Yes.
Out there, and not just single dads, but dads who are doing their best, dads who are trying to do the right thing. Is there opportunity for you to coach them? I don't know. I am putting you on the spot. I'm putting you on the spot because guess what?
Yeah.
You know, people talk about the girl child and they always say, but the boy child is so neglected.
Yeah.
There are dads out there who are really trying their best.
Yeah.
There are dads out there who are single, not by choice. You know, my dad was widowed.
Yes.
At very young age. I think my dad was, maybe was he 29 or 30? Wow. Very, very young. And then was left with 3 young children. Stayed the course for nearly 30 years before he remarried. He was committed to raising us himself.
Very special person.
So I know exactly. I'm going to have him on the podcast soon.
Yes, I'm sure that would
but
be
you know what
amazing.
I'm trying to, guys, I'm doing this for you. I'm advocating. I'm advocating because there are dads who are experiencing overwhelmment.
Yeah.
There are dads who are trying to navigate a world where my dad was doing it at a time where my last born brother was in nappies, not diapers, nappies. You know, with the liner and the safety pin. It was that parent.
Yes. Oh my goodness.
Taking my baby brother for clinics.
Yes.
And having women
He's
there
a special
judge
person.
him.
Yeah, of course.
There were women there judging him like, what has happened?
Yeah.
Bibi yake.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
don't know your story. And you're hearing them loud enough. You know, so I'm pitching for them to say, I love what you're doing with overwhelmed moms.
Yeah.
Is there opportunity for you? And even maybe when you're having those sessions around aligning couples, do you ever bring men into your sessions or try and guide or help? Or have you had men who reach out and say, this idea?
Yeah. Well, there's some who DM me and say, I'm a single father.
Yeah.
And I love your content. It's helping me a lot. you
Yeah.
know. But what has happened is that when I do like the balance and bliss, that's a signature training where I do all that, the ladies come and they tell me, there's been such a big change in me. My husband is asking, and it's many of them. The husband noticed, and they're like, "What is that? The thing that I see you doing on Thursday? Because sometimes you do it Thursday evening. We usually do it in the evening of 1 month, because you've changed so much. The house is in order. I'm seeing you in the kitchen. You're cooking.
Come on.
You know, because when they do all those things and their values become very clear, then being home and being that mother becomes important. Because, and I digress a bit, but this is very important, so I don't forget. The reason I really wanted to do this, I noticed that we are becoming so career-driven as women.
Yes.
Go-getters,
Yeah.
big jobs, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
But what was happening in turn, the home was getting neglected.
Yeah.
So for me, I always tell everyone who comes to me, I am very biased. Family first.
Absolutely.
Once you sort out and put everything in place, then let's get on with growing our career and everything. But we are not going to neglect the home. So these fathers are coming, and one of the ladies came and told me, my husband is asking whether he can do the same thing for them.
There you go. I wanted us to get to that point because you know what? Everybody needs what it is that you're doing. And you guys, I'm asking for you, and we're going to be sharing all her handles, her IG. Are you on Facebook?
Yes.
Okay, so you know, for the millennials and the baby boomers who are on Facebook.
Yeah.
Where else? Like, have you got a website or?
Usually it's Instagram and Facebook.
And Facebook.
Yes.
I'm not going to talk about the other things that I know you're planning that are coming,
Yes.
but you are going to expand the way in which that you reach people.
Yeah.
But how can people reach out to you for a coaching session? How do they get in touch with you? Is it just through IG DMs
Yes.
or do they email you? Do they call you? How can they reach out to you?
Instagram through my handle, which we'll share.
Yeah.
It's Coach Catherine.
Yeah.
If you just do a search of Coach Catherine, you will find me on Instagram and the same on Facebook.
Yeah.
And for my email is coachcatherine.ke at gmail.com.
Fantastic. We'll actually have everything posted on here.
Yeah.
I'm going to stop it there because it can keep going and going, but I have absolutely loved having you on here. I know we've just given everybody a little bit of a teaser of what it is that you do or capable of doing. I would love to have you back on again, especially with that last topic that we started to discuss there, because it is much, much needed. I'm so encouraged to hear that husbands
Yes.
are noticing
Yes.
enough of a change
Yeah.
that they're going, well, how can we?
Yeah.
How can we also?
We have to make motherhood
Yeah,
fashionable
I love that.
and beautiful.
Yeah,
Because it is God given.
yeah.
And the home, if we take care of the home the way God wants us to,
Come on.
it is beautiful. It's a beautiful space. Yeah, the challenges, that's life. As long as you're on this other side of, life, there will be problems and challenges. But it's beautiful when you have a partner you can share with, and just that cohesion, having your kids.
And building a beautiful family
It's
together.
a beautiful family.
Yeah.
And when the family is a cornerstone.
Yeah.
And I always say that's why Jesus was born in a family. That's how important
Families
family
are,
is.
yeah.
Because otherwise he would have come in, he would have just come in through the clouds, and he was here and he did what he
I'm
needed.
the savior,
but
guys,
guess
I'm
what?
here.
He came into a family with a mother and a father, grew up. We are told he was obedient.
Yeah.
He worked.
Yeah.
He did everything in a family setup.
Yeah.
So let us go back to our roots and look at what is my role.
Yeah.
And let us not, there's a lot of negative vibes about the traditional role of a woman and everything. There's still a lot of beauty in who I am as a mother.
And motherhood.
And motherhood.
Absolutely.
And let us
Absolutely.
give our men space. As women, we've really grown. At times I get beaten up, but yeah, we have really, we went to Beijing. We decided in the 60s. I always say that most of the overwhelm that you're going through, it's coming because in the 60s, we also said we want to go and work. So yeah, we asked for it. So we are working. We're taking care of our homes. We're doing everything. But there's a solution.
Yeah.
But if you and your husband are communicating, you love each other,
Yeah.
you're good.
It's a partnership. It's a
support
partnership.
each other.
It's something I always say is like exactly what you were touching on is the fact that the world out there,
Yeah.
it's got its challenges.
Yes.
It's tough.
Yes.
Yes, there's
Yeah.
pressure at work. Your
Yeah.
boss is this.
Yeah.
This is happening. All of kids at school, this is what's happening.
Yeah.
But we get to create our safe space.
Exactly.
This gets to be the world that we wish the rest of the world was. We get
Exactly.
to create that environment, and it's an environment that you want to be in. It's an
Yes.
environment your husband looks forward to being in. It's an environment your kids can't wait to come home. Just that picture that you painted about Fridays and kids looking forward to the fact that there's going to be pizza.
Yes.
It's that one occasion you're allowed to have Coke.
Exactly.
And you get to watch TV.
Yes.
Those kind of things.
Yes.
And I'm going to have my dad on here, but he singly did that.
Yeah.
He would create moments where we were so excited. We looked forward to so many different things.
Right.
That takes an intentionality. As a single parent, you can do that. Because I just remember I couldn't wait to hang out with my dad and my brothers. And our favorite time was when he would tell us bedtime stories.
Oh
and
my
it was
gosh.
all made up.
Yes.
We
yes.
could, like
My
now I
gosh.
reflect, I'm like, Dad was making those stories.
You do it. And
But he created an environment
Wow.
that, like, to the point where, because we were bereaved at a really young age, we quickly, like, we almost forgot that Mum wasn't there because he played the role so well.
Oh my God.
That
those
it's
look
only
up.
when, and I actually feel the loss of my mum more as an adult, as a married woman or as a mother,
Mother.
and I want to ask so many
Yes.
questions. I feel it more now than I did as a child because Dad spread himself out so well, So it is possible to create that environment, and that's something that, like I said, I would love for us to touch on our next session. But for everyone who tuned in today, thank you so much. Coach Catherine's handles have been shared at the bottom. We have gone well over time, but thank you so much for joining us today. And as always, mums, dads, you guys are doing an amazing job. Asanteni sana, and you know what? A happy new year to you and all the best for 2026. What was the word, the phrase that you gave me before? Was it
A luta continua.
a luta continua, which is
Yeah.
Portuguese for
The struggle continues.
the struggle. And it's a positive struggle, right?
Yeah, it's positive, a positive
It's a
struggle.
positive struggle.
Yes,
Thank you so much for being here with us today.
Yes.
Thank you so much for your wisdom.
Thank
Again,
you.
a
It was
voice that is
amazing.
much needed in our generation. So I appreciate your time. Asante sana.
Thank you. It was absolutely amazing. I can't believe time went that fast. There's still so much to talk about. So yes, thank you for having me.
Awesome. And so without much further ado, I'm going to introduce my ghost. So these are those bloopers. Juma, I hope you're happy. He usually takes bloopers.
Yeah.